just do it as we go along.
Hello everyone, welcome to second channel video or YouTube stream, Twitch stream, depending on where you are. Today I am joined by the coach of Jackpot, Ren. I don't know, say something about yourself, go.
Yeah, sure. I mean, you kind of said most of it. I'm just a coach of Jackpot, and I posted a tweet the other day, and Chara DM me is like, "Yo, you want to make a video or a stream for this?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure." But I'm sure he'll explain how it's gonna go down.
Right, so today we are doing a predictions, it's not a final ranking or anything. Those are just predictions from two coaches about like where we think the new weapons are going to stand from what we know right now. It might change later, but if you want like a good semblance of what we're thinking of in terms of where things might stand, that's what we're doing. So we've laid out, the typical tier list, and we've tried to put a weapon in each tier to kind of signify about where that level is. There's no guarantee weapons will be in every tier. Like, there's probably not going to be a weapon in the pencil tier. But, it's just for like a baseline understanding of, oh, okay, this is what each one is kind of relative power-wise. So we tried to pick weapons that are like pretty well understood, I guess. So, uh, that being said, I mean, we can just get these new weapons ranked. I guess I should have probably dragged them up before we start, but
Yeah,
I can do that. It's fine.
I
I'll do
have to
that.
like
I'll do that right now.
I have to
What do we
like
want to talk with while
rescroll.
I'm dragging them up, though? What do you want to open with? Probably one of the kits first, right? Save the new weapons for the end.
Yeah, no, definitely save the new ones for the end. I think
Okay.
those are the most
Well, what kit
interesting.
do you want to start with? What grabs your attention the most out of this new
Um,
season?
Most favorable. Okay, this might be a hard, like a little bit of a hot take. Actually, no. Let's start off with like the easy one, right?
Okay.
I think we go new Squiffer.
New Swiffer?
hmm
You think this is the easy one?
I think this is the easy one
Okay. Wow,
because
that's crazy.
it's the one that like everybody's like hyped for. You know what I
Well,
mean?
yeah, but it's hard to rank. I could see it being in like three different tiers on this list. It's gonna be hard to pick one for
Really?
me.
I think it's like mid as hell. If we're talking, okay,
I
if we're
don't think it's
talking,
mid. I really like it. I think it's good.
okay,
I
well,
just
I'll
don't
let
know
you
if I
start
think
then.
it's like
What
to,
What do you think makes it like good? Like, how would you place it?
for me it's like somewhere between A or S. It just depends how good Squiffer
Really?
players can get with the caster. If they can become like insane with it, I think it could be here potentially, like bottom of S. But I think
hmm
it's probably like A tier for my list. I think Squiffer really needs like a continuation tool, and I think
hmm
it needs a way to get better off angles because I see like every mid-range weapon trying to get really good angles, and Squiffer's current kit kind of can't do that. I don't really like its current kit too much right now, at least in this meta. Outside of like Bubble is okay sometimes, but I don't think it does a lot for Squiffer. I think it's like you get a kill, you get ran down, you can just pop cast and leave. Like it gives you a way out. You can
Right.
still pretty easily kill with a cast on itself or partial combos. Squiffer's partial combos actually aren't that bad because they did buff that in S2. So its partials do a good bit of damage. I think it used to cap at 70 and now it's at 80 if I remember correctly.
The
So if
combo with
you
auto or combo
no, with the
with the zip?
caster itself, like you hit them 35 to 45 and you can just partial kill them in like 35, 30 frames. It's not that bad. I mean, you still
Okay.
have the one shot. You get a good amount of shots
The
after it. And auto is really good, I think, right now. I really like auto bomb,
Yeah, I like auto a lot actually.
especially for Squiffer. I think it's a very synergistic kit. I think it's strong tools. It's just difficult. Like, it's probably the hardest weapon in the game. I think it dethrones Stamper to me.
It's definitely tough. The problem though is like you just brought it up. I think it's directly like competing with Stamper is the problem.
I don't. I feel like you run completely different comps with Squiffer than you do with Sword. Because I run Sword, I'm like, I want things that will like combo off of my damage very well and kind of paint
Mhm.
like stuff like that. But Squiffer just kind of one shots everything. Like I don't like, for example, I like range Stamper a lot.
Yeah,
For instance, I don't
but
think I'd ever want Squiffer Stamper. I'd much rather run something else with Squiffer. So I mean,
yeah, no, I
there's
don't.
some
I definitely don't
competition,
think you
but
ever run together.
I feel like it's different what you would want to run with it. I mean, Stamper's still better, 100%.
Yeah, that's the thing though. Like Stamper is better, and I think the Stamper comps will be better as a result, which
Mhm.
means Squiffer. I don't see a reason to use Squiffer in comp. You know what I mean? Unless it's like for like Twitter clips.
Hmm. That's fair. But I mean, even then, would
That's
you
why I
say
rate
it's
it
as
lower.
niche as Wiper? Like, if you had a one trick who was good with it, would you say they would get the level of a
Um,
Wiper player, like as a counter pick, or would it be up here? Because I think even in
that's
that case, it's up there. No.
yeah. I like my okay. Well, I'll say like my kind of reasoning behind it.
Mhm.
I think it's like difficult to use, but because it's directly fighting Stamper, I don't think it can be on the same tier as Stamper because I think it's just straight
Do
up
you think?
better.
Well, I think Stamper's like
So
S,
yeah,
so
me
I would
too.
still rank it a tier lower. But I
So
don't
I
think it's
would
as low as Wiper.
Yeah, so I would personally, just due to how difficult it is to use, I'd probably put it B or A, personally.
Okay.
So if you wanna go, like, low A, sure.
Yeah.
Personally, I'd probably put it on, like, Wiper tier.
Okay. I'll do low A for this, but yeah, I could
Yeah.
see like high B as well. But I think it's definitely better than Wiper. Um, why is Reflex up here? I didn't mean to drag that. There we go. Let's get some of these out of the way. Um, what next? Well, you just picked one. I should pick one, right?
Yeah, you got it.
I'll pick an easy one. I think Gold Knot is like B or C. Probably B. It is still a knot with a
Mhm.
bomb. I don't think it's gonna top the Rain kit, but like it's still a
Yeah.
Nautilus with the bomb.
I
And like
think
the special's
especially
not
now.
completely useless. So I
Yeah.
mean, I think it's I could see some weird maps where you would pick it, but outside of that, I think like most of the time people will pick the vanilla, but not so much picked for the main gun already. And having a bomb on it is really nice. So I feel like it can't be. I feel like it can't be that much lower, really.
I think a problem right now with it is, like, the original kit, like, point sensor's really good right now, in my opinion.
Hmm.
Um, so, like, it's trying to replace a kit that is, like, I think it's, like, good.
Yeah,
And the
I like the
problems that
VNOT kit a lot.
yeah, the problem that VNOT has is, like, the existence of Squeezer and
Hmm.
stuff right now, right? So, I don't even think, like, it's gonna have all the problems that VNOT has, but not have the benefits that VNOT has as well, like, in this specific meta as
Yeah,
so
that's
it's
true.
like so it's like, I don't I don't know, I just don't see it. I would probably even put it, like, down a tier, but I think just because Knot is such a strong main weapon, it probably is, like, Wiper.
Yeah, it's one of those like it's still a good weapon with a good sub. It's really hard for me to rank it lower than B when it's like
Yeah,
that
that's the
solid.
main thing.
Yeah. Definitely low B though if we put something else in it. All right,
Mhm.
your pick.
Okay, I say we go I wanna save Gluga for later.
Yeah,
Let's do a funny one, let's just do
Gluga and the new weapons can go in a row. This is way too
yeah.
interesting.
Okay, let's just get Expo out of the way. I'm not gonna lie.
So how
Just
bad?
I don't even think we need to explain. Okay, to be fair, it is an Explosher, and I don't think it's a horrible main weapon.
Yeah, the main
I
weapon's like
just think
fine.
yeah, I just think it gets the kit does nothing for it, and it just gets fucked by the main weapon.
So it's
Or
pencil
by
tier,
the meta
right?
right now. No, yeah, definitely pencil tier. Yeah, yeah. I think if it didn't get, like, completely annihilated by, like, every special in the game all the time
Every
throughout the
special and every
entirety of
long
Splat
range
3.
weapon just demolishes it so
Yeah.
bad.
Like, oh, man, I don't wanna put it Sploosh tier. I don't think it's
Yeah,
as
it's
bad as
not
Sploosh.
that bad. I think it's like a very
Yeah.
clear D tier candidate. The wall on it also is
Yeah.
like not the worst thing. Like I could see you like throwing it to run away from like an inkjet or something or a crab and it tanks like a little bit while you move. It's not the worst thing it could have gotten. But it's not yeah, I think like
I
low
would
D.
not yeah. It doesn't even, like, really need an explanation. I think
Yeah,
we're
I
giving
mean I
it
think
more than it needs.
people get this one. Okay.
Alright,
Well, while
easy.
while you're biting that bullet, I guess I'll bite this one. um.
Which one? Oh, the Ringer.
Yeah, Dread D, the potential
I
savior
see
of the meta.
I
Uh,
see potential. I see potential.
I don't.
If Wavebreaker wasn't horrible.
If they make Wave able to combo with one hit, I think it could be like a B or A tier weapon. Like that
Yeah,
alone would do a lot. Beacons, like this is not the best beacon weapon for it, but beacons are not bad. And Wave,
yeah.
like, it's it's not good, but it's not like a splashdown or a screen. I
I
would
think
probably like my hard part like I'm between C and D. Like
yeah.
V Dread is like A or B depending on if you're doing zones only for me. I think the problem is just like Slider is on Dread is better than Wave is for it.
It literally
And it
is. Yeah,
has a
that's
bomb
so
which is
stupid.
better. So it's
Like,
like
it's
it's not that bad, but like I barely see reasons you would pick it. Like it'd have to be a map like I don't know, like Flounder, where beacons and wave are pretty good. Like wave on Flounder is really busted, and like beacons are good there. So like okay, it's like a very specific map mode thing. Like Humpback would be another because Slider on Humpback just doesn't work for some reason. So okay, maybe there you want the wave since it hits everything pretty well. Like it's not the weapon is fine. I think the main
yeah.
weapon is like pretty good.
Yeah, I love
It's
the main
just a
weapon.
whatever kit. It's
It's
not as bad as custom expo. So I think
it's
I would put
so
it here.
sad. It's so sad to me because like despite Dreadringer's like the vanilla one's horrible kit, it still has, like you said, it has a
It's so
use
close,
over
man.
even this one.
It's
Like
so
you can at
close to
least
being
zone
good.
cheese. You can
Yeah.
at least zone cheese with that one. But this one, like I was talking it over and like I could see maybe running it on like mincemeat or something, like mincemeat zones
Hmm.
to control left stack really well. But
Yeah.
the sacrifices you have to make in your comp, I just don't think
See,
warrant.
that's what I hate about these kits because the
I
whole thing
know.
about Dread is you can run it and it can like if it had a real kit, you would be able to run it and you'd be able to pick like anything with it. You could pick like
Literally.
another
Oh
blaster, a
my
bucket, a
god.
roller. You could pick all these weird weapons with it, but you can't because you have to pick things that can actually get things to
Yeah.
make up for the kit. It's so
Yeah,
depressing. It could have been
I
the other
can't
way
even like
around.
I can't even like contest you on like the dynamo placement, like placing it next to dynamo because it's
It
like
feels like the same thing. It's another like, hey, maybe I'll pick this on Humpback and Fun. Like it's even the same
yeah, literally.
maps.
But like even then, I don't
Dynamo
even think
wants.
it's that good actually. I think even Dynamo has a niche
I mean,
where
I don't
like
think it's as good as Dynamo, but I think it's at least
yeah,
on the same tier. I think Dynamo is definitely better.
yeah. Well, the yeah, I guess
Like it's not
primarily because of
it's
the
not like
main.
Explo Paintbrush type bad. It's still a good
Yeah.
main weapon at the end of the
Yeah.
day.
No,
And it
yeah, you're
still
right.
gets
You're
a
right.
lot of wave, even if it is wave. You are still gonna get like 8 of them.
Yeah,
Like a
yeah, that's
game.
fair. And then yeah, Beacon still has good utility over like
Yeah, and it's
fucking
still
like
a
curling
beacon.
bow.
It's like
Yeah, yeah, yeah. C
it's
tier is
like the
fair.
most whatever package you could possibly
I
have.
know. It's
Which
so
fits this tier
unfortunate.
pretty well for me. This is all like just whatever.
This is like semi tangential, but
Go
I
ahead.
hate how many kits we have that are like they don't do anything. Like you said, it's like a nothing kit. You have all these kits that just like don't do anything with the main weapon, like custom explode, even if they're like good or like bad. It's like, oh my god, dude, just make something fun. Like
Yeah, I don't
Squiffer's
know.
so fun, even if it's not like amazing.
Yeah, like even if New Squiffer ends up being the worst thing ever, which it won't, I think
Yeah.
people would still like any comp player would still be like, nah, that kid is cool.
Yeah, exactly. It's like X tier fun, even if it's like F tier meta.
Like I
You know what
think
I mean?
comp players get it. Like if comp players see a really fun kit that's like bad, I think they'll still get that like, oh okay, it's worth putting in the game. I think a
Yeah,
lot of upset
exactly.
comes from like, okay, but is this really that fun? Which like
Yeah.
I get it.
I'm glad people feel that way though.
I hope I enjoy it in solo. To be fair, maybe I will.
The
I don't
Swiffer?
know. I could do dumb quick respawn expo things on this kit at least.
Oh, Expo.
That'll be funny. It
Yeah.
won't be good though. All right.
Definitely
Well,
not.
what do you want to do next? We got leader, Flingza, or 52. What do you
Okay,
want to talk about next?
I this one might be a little controversial, so I think we go Flingza.
Okay, Flingza. Where would you put it?
I I've been saying this a lot on Twitter,
Mm-hmm.
but like I don't understand the hate that Screen gets specifically in terms of like meta strength. If we're
Yeah.
talking accessibility, I get it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I see a lot of like people saying it's like bad as a special or like a useless special, whatever. I think it's like, for example, like bless you by the way.
Yeah.
Like for foil squeezer, right? I think it's like a top five, if not like top three weapon in the game, and it's not entirely because it's squeezer, but it's like in large part due to screen as well and how it just like absolutely screws like pushes on zones and stuff. Because of that, and because it's like flingza, and I think it's pretty good for like playing around the wall itself because it's a one shot roller. I think it has like
Wall?
actually really good. Sorry,
Wall?
screen. Sorry.
Oh no! Oh, screen.
Um,
You mean wall? I'm so confused. My bad.
Yeah, sorry, sorry. I would probably put it like A, and if we're like bumping like niches, like if we bump up niches, I would probably even put it like really, really low S.
Okay.
Like I think
That.
it's really good.
Um, I think it's underrated, but for different reasons. I'm more of a screen hater. I think
Mhm,
that my problem is not that screen doesn't do anything. My problem is I feel like all the comps that people are running are these mid to long range stuff, and I don't want my like pencil and squeezer to not be able to see the other team. I think if
mhm.
screen was somewhat see through for your team, it would actually be pretty good. I think it would be very useful, and I think screen on
Eh,
flings is okay. Like you can shark behind it, but
yeah.
I more think flings is more of an underrated weapon. Like horizontal flick is pretty consistent now.
Oh no,
Vertical
yeah,
is
it's
still
very
nuts.
underrated.
I don't think anyone will dispute vertical. and it's
Yeah.
still a bomb on a Flingza. To me, it would be like a B to A tier weapon. I would
Ye-
not put it in S, but
I say we go A. We just split it down the middle.
yeah, if you think it's
I
I could see it as like a very niche thing for sure. Like
exactly. Yeah.
on specific Flingza maps, it could be very good. I could see it.
Exactly. Yeah. I
Okay.
think even for yeah, like specifically, I think like really big ones would be like humpback outside of zones,
Hmm.
or like flounder in pretty much every single like mode.
Yeah.
Like maps where the like range is a little bit weaker, where like the fling, or rather you have to like close gaps or like turn corners and stuff like that, where like the actual like main weapon can kind of pop off. Because I
Okay.
think if you get rewarded really heavily for like switching like dynamically between like playing your kind of anchory flingza playstyle and just like going in for a kill,
Mhm.
like a V roller or something. I think it's very like untapped, the
Okay.
potential there.
That's fair. All right. Did you want to talk about E-liter or 52 next? 'Cause I'll just take the other. I don't have too much of a preference. I have a lot to say about leader, not as much to say about 52. But if you want to
I'm a
lead
big
leader, I'm
leader
fine
hater,
too.
so I'll let you take that one.
All right. Um, I think leader is ARS with this kit. I think it's better than the vanilla kit.
Really?
It's just I don't know how much. My theory is leader has a lot of gear freedom. Like especially because leaders are running object shredder, and I don't think they've realized they don't need to run object shredder. You don't need object shredder. You don't
Hmm.
need respawn punish because everyone is cooler anyway. So you have a shit ton of gear. You can run whatever you want. So you can afford to invest into your Kraken, into your beacons, into a like 1.1 QSJ stuff.
That's
And
true.
that's
Yeah.
where I think it could be a lot better. Because if you can actually, to me, a lot of this kit value actually depends on the beacon. Like, can you set up beacons pretty easily? How often can you get Kraken? Because it is cheaper than the 210 wave. It's only 200. So this gets special
Hmm.
more too. If you can, like, see, my weird theory is like you run leader and you don't even use Kraken as a panic button. You run like Q-ish day on it, like a lot. And you just jump into your teammates or beacons and just pop Kraken there and then just jump back to a beacon you have on snipe when the Kraken's done. And you can just like you do leader things, and then the second they have anything to where you can't do e-leader things, you just within 1 second switch to being on the front line with the Kraken. Now, how
Yeah.
consistent is that is not
That's the
tested.
thing.
And that's
Yeah.
where it would go like lower for me. If it can do that really well, I think it's up here. I also think it is a busted clan blitz weapon because on clan blitz, every Kraken weapon right now has to play the dilemma of do I save for Kraken cheese or use it to win this fight? Leader can just hold its Kraken forever. It doesn't need to pop it. You'll never
Hmm.
have to use it. So you can just constantly sit there and threaten to Kraken cheese. And the second your team's ready to do it, they just go backwards, you go in and you just score. And you can just sit there with Kraken forever and they can't actually kill the Kraken guy early. Like, unlike a 96, this thing isn't going to randomly lose its Kraken and not be able to cheese. It can just sit with it the whole time and hold a power climb the whole time. So I think it's very
That
strong for like Kraken cheese heavy maps. Like if you're playing Ship
that
Shape or Barnacle, I think you
kinda
pick it like
that's
100%.
I like have to disagree with that. I
Mm-hmm.
think like if we're playing into a Zuka meta, leader like by default is already weaker,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because you're gonna take a lot of chip damage, a lot of displacement, and you're gonna get rushed down pretty heavily once like Azuka comes out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, but more than that, if we're talking the actual kit itself, I kind of like Kraken with it, but I think Beacon just isn't. I think it's like heavily overrated.
It's really hard to place the beacons. That's the part that worries
Exactly.
me.
Yeah. And more than that, the way you're gonna be playing it is like you're gonna okay, let's say you crack and cheese on clams, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're not gonna send everybody forward, right? You're the anchor, right? But if you're pushing up forward and you're like cracketing to get your teammates in, you're still gonna have somebody like sitting back to make sure like you don't completely wipe. And that's the person that you'd be jumping to anyway. Like you don't
Mm-hmm.
need the beacons. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can
So
see
like
that.
you're gonna go through this huge hassle with a weapon that already has a lot of downtime, placing beacons around in areas that like aren't just immediately gonna get destroyed,
Mm-hmm.
right? And
Oh
then
yeah.
you're gonna do that just to jump because it's faster. You're gonna do it to jump to your teammates anyway that
Mm-hmm.
are like in the back line holding
It,
your
it's
position.
super it's super like high risk. Same with Kraken itself. Like you can easily just have Krakens that don't do anything, and like leader players will need to get
Mhm.
very good at Kraken to make it work. Like especially on zones. So, but I
Yeah.
mean, I still think leader is not that bad of a weapon right now. I think it still can bully pencil sometimes out of position. I think it still does have some merits. To me, I think it's still
Mhm.
like a high A. I think you can make it work if you're very good with it. I think charges in general are a bit underrated against pencil. Like we
Yeah,
saw ZF win a tournament as well. I think it's totally, if you're going to pick non-pencil comps, I think leader and ZF are your best chances of winning compared to
I just feel
anything
like
else.
I just feel like leader. Like, okay, personally, I'd probably just put it down a tier. Like that.
Mhm.
That's my own opinion. I'd probably put it around like B.
Okay.
But I also have like a really heavy bias against Chargers,
Hmm.
specifically for like the unless it's pencil because pencil doesn't have the issue that I'm about to mention, but
Yes.
like the downtime issues between like being able to like exert pressure. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
no,
I
it's a
think
huge deal with how fast everything is right now. It's a
exactly, yeah.
big weakness.
And then you're also gonna have a weapon that just loses to what's meta right now
Mhm.
too. Like it can get like almost entirely shut down. Especially if we play scope variant. If we put scope variant, that like goes D
Yeah,
tier
I
in
don't
my opinion.
rank scopes and unscope, but yeah, obviously in this case you'd pick the
Yeah.
scope.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Do you
But
want to
yeah, I
compromise like
just
low
don't think
A?
highly. I'm okay with low A. I personally I wouldn't I would probably even put it like low B personally. I wouldn't even put it
Wow.
like even think about A.
Well, I'll compromise with you then, because you compromise with me on some of the others. We'll do high B.
High B, yeah, that's fair.
Above not, I think is fair, but probably
Yeah,
not wiper.
above not's fine.
I don't know. Okay. I don't have a lot to say about 52. I think it's like a B or C. You have
Yeah,
no kit. It doesn't work
it's
with 52
fine.
at all. But it's still a
Yeah,
52. I
I
just don't
feel like
ever see why this would be picked.
it's
Ever.
one of the few weapons where like if screen ends up being really oh sorry if screen ends up being like really good then like for the screen itself then
Oh
like
yeah, then
52
people
is
would pick it
like the
for
best,
sure.
yeah.
But right
But like
now, like even if you want a screen, I feel like Flingsit and Squeezer are just such better options. And Flingsit gets plenty of screen, so like you
yeah,
can't make the output argument. Even then, Flow Squeeze
it's
is 190
squeezer,
with a bomb. It's not even that
yeah,
bad.
it's really squeezer, that's the big thing. Like
So to
even
me, it's
flings
just
I could see the argument,
I'd just put it
but
C. I'd put it below Dread. I think it has less use cases than Dread D. Like I just don't. I don't
huh,
ever see why you would pick it. I can see
but wouldn't
sometimes you would pick this. I can never see why you would pick this ever. I don't get it.
really
You have
I mean
no,
I
you have
think
like
the
such a bad
weapon
sub and a bad like. I mean, part of it's a screen hitter, but even if screen is good, like why would you pick this screen option?
I think it's just like a pace thing then at that point
Yeah, I
because
mean,
like
I
you'd
guess
be
it's
able to
faster than Flingza, but
yeah,
like,
well, I don't think it's even competing with Flingzo really,
hmm,
because I think there would be a very clear reason to use one over the other.
yeah.
Um, but if we're talking like Squeezer, I think then it gets a lot more um like one-sided in like Squeezer's favor. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So like I don't think it's like worth like you lose AoE versus like Flingzo or something like that, and you don't really have the like the niche that Flingza has on like certain maps. So I would probably put it like B tier personally, not because you would ever run it, but because it's like if you did run it, it's not like an instant throw pick. You know what I mean? Like if you run like Dreadringer D or whatever, it's like okay, what are you doing, bro? You know?
Yeah, I
But like
guess.
52, it's still a 52 and it still has screen, which if it's good, then like cool, it's a screen and it outputs and it paints really easily and you know what I mean?
Mhm.
I think just by virtue of its own like main weapon
So you
and
would
screen
still put
being
it like
decent, I
low
put it
B? Are
up.
you thinking?
Yeah, I definitely put it like below not, but like around there. Yeah.
Okay, I can see this. All right. So let's talk about the big one. Do we just
Here we
rank
go.
both Glugas while we're here? Because I mean, I feel like you might as well just talk about both.
Would you
Since
choose? Yeah, let's do it. Sure.
I'm just gonna put I'm not ranking these here. I'm just putting
Hmm.
them up. Um, I think the Gluga buff is really good, but I think
Yeah.
it's gonna take a while to see it because I feel like Gluga has had to play like full QR super dive gun right now.
Hmm.
But I don't know if that's the best thing for it now because if you just paint and chill, like a 96 does, you're a 180 Booyah with a decent paint.
Yeah.
That's kind of crazy. And
The
I'm like, you have wall too. You can just stay alive. You have wall, you have
yeah.
rolls, you have booyah. Like, you're such a hard weapon to kill if you're actually playing to live. And then this thing, like, it's 190, so it's not as insane. And obviously, no wall on Gluck is a big deal, but
Hmm.
you can still get, like, more Zukas than everything besides, like, tent and shot. You will out Zuka everything else. And you can still, like, you still have the utility of, like, you have a point hunter for your Zuka. I feel like, I mean, my hot take, I think when people figure out gear and playstyles, I think Gluga's could be like, I would put this like low A and this like high A, low S is honestly where I think they could go. It depends because I think Gluga players have to entirely change their playstyle around what it
Yeah.
can do now that it can paint, and we just don't have a reference point for it. But like the closest thing I can reference is Kgal, and like obviously it's not as fast or as spammy as Kgal,
Hmm.
but like I can still see a
It gets
little
close.
Kgal in
It
it.
gets close. Yeah. I think the
I
big
don't think
thing
they can be lower
holding.
than. I don't think any of them could be lower than B though after the
I
buff.
agree. Yeah, yeah. It's not even. Yeah, it's not even remotely. I think like the big thing holding back vanilla Gluga though is actually the Booyah Bomb because
I
I think
like
for this
Booyah. I think Booyah is so good.
I don't think it's bad, but I think it's a little bit like too niche. And your timing needs to be like perfect. It's not like Crab where like if you play into a Zuka meta, you can use Crab to like bait out like Zukas to like throw, you know what I mean?
I feel like you
Um
can though.
but here's the thing
Honestly.
though. I think with Booyah Bomb, if you bait quote unquote bait out a Zuka and you're not like hiding behind cover or something, like you're just dead.
Mhm.
It's like a respawn button basically. You have to be really really careful with it.
Yeah, but even
Um
then, you still have to use like two or three shots of your Zuka on one guy. And then the thing
it
is,
takes
if
one to
you
break it.
yeah, one break and then two or three to kill. Like if you aim perfectly, which is not that hard. But think about it this way: I pop Booyah as a Gluga. I sit in the air. They shoot two bazooka shots and kill me. I retain 90% of the Booyah Bomb anyway because of Cooler. I just come back and
Yeah,
I
that's a
have
good
it
point.
again, and you lose two of your Zuka shots. Is that really that bad?
Yeah, that's a
Because
good
then I
point.
just have another Booyah. I'm just
Yeah.
gonna go and fight you and then panic it and then throw it again. And then I
Yeah,
still get
yeah, no,
better.
you're
I
right.
still get
That's
better
fair.
paint, like or not better, but I get almost as good paint as Tri Strike. I have a panic button that's the fastest besides Slider, and Slider is not good. Like it panics faster than Kraken. I think. Or sorry, way faster than Kraken. Way faster than
No,
Crab.
yeah,
I think
absolutely.
it's like a 31 frame panic button. I think Crab's like 40 and Kraken's like 61. Like it's
Mhm,
insanely quick. It takes a lot to shoot down, and it's just multi-purposed. Like if I have I can use this for the same utility I want from a strike or from like something to actually get my team in. It's so easy to like roll, get a kill with a Gluga, and then just pop Booyah. And just
mhm.
it's such a heavy momentum weapon, I feel. That's what I like about Booyah. It's so easy to either start something with it or to make a small play a big one very easily. I think
Yeah,
Booyah
that's
is
fair.
just as good as like Crab. I think it's
As long
insane.
as long as it has like a team that can actually like help it start that momentum shift,
Yeah.
basically. 'Cause I think it gets locked out. I think it still gets locked out like really, really hard.
Lockout's still tough. It just depends if you can get Booyah. That's why I think like maybe you want some charge up. Honestly, just play
Yeah,
for the
now that it
Booyah
can
on
paint,
defense.
probably. Yeah.
Because now you can actually paint, and you can paint pretty far too. Cannot be that hard to get a Booyah. So
Yeah. Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
fair.
it depends. It's a bit unproven, but like I think it's better than 96. Like I would rather have a Booyah than a Kraken, especially a 180 versus a 210 one. Like no contest. I would much rather have that.
Yeah,
So
fair. Yeah, I can't disagree with if I put Flingza there, I can't disagree with the Gluga.
I mean, I don't know about. I think S is only if like we're super. If I'm super right about like Gluga stuff. If the Booyah
Yeah.
ends up being really good and you can run like hybrid QR or non QR kits and stuff like that. So
Yeah,
I would
I
put it like top of A for now.
I probably even if it's like if it lives up to total expectation, I probably still wouldn't put it S just because Squeezer
Yeah,
fucks
it
it.
is still squeezier against it. That's the hard
Yeah,
part for
yeah.
sure.
The other one, Gluga Deco, I think is a bit weaker. I'm not gonna lie.
I still is it still A or do you think it's like high B?
I think it's fine at like bottom of A maybe, just because well I don't know.
It's hard to say.
The thing is like Squeezer's right there again. It's the same weapon, and
Also,
it's like
Machine
okay,
Neo
but
with
there's
the same kit. Yeah,
yeah, but I guess with Machine Neo, it's like
I feel like this
it's
gets
a
way more
bit
Booyah though, or not Booyah, more Zuka than
yeah, it's
Machine.
more nuanced. Like
Machine is
with
more
Neo
picked for the
Machine,
weapon, I
it's
think, and you have the kit with it, or at least the main
yeah,
plus
and the
sub.
point sensor.
I don't think you pick it to have a Zuka. This I feel like you can pick it as like the ultimate second Zuka weapon. Like you want a lot of Zuka spam, and you still want the sensors for your Zuka, then you can pick this.
Well,
I've
I
seen a
don't really
lot of
think the
Gluga players not liking this kit though as much, so maybe low B
yeah
would be fair because I haven't seen many of them really like this kit as much, which I can get. Wall is a huge deal.
yeah Yeah, I don't really know. It's hard to really justify using it is the big problem. Kind of like with Ringer
Yeah, I think
or
in that
you
case, then it
know.
has to be in B. I don't think you can put an A if it's hard to justify, because I think it's easy to justify any of these picks, but I don't
Yeah,
think it
that's
is for
fair.
these.
Well, I mean,
Well, except Wiper,
seeing
because
Swiffer there
counterpick.
is so weird to me.
Yeah, I know. I listen. I'm partially biased because I played with Leo in S2.
That's
You know,
fair. That's fair. That's
and
fair.
Leo's a hard believer in this kit, but like an insane Swiffer is so fucking scary, man.
No, I definitely know.
They
Like,
just
if you get a
kill you
Swiffer,
from like under a ledge a mile away in one hit. Like Stamper can do that too, but Stamper doesn't one tap you. You can just
yeah.
die from a Swiffer so far away under a ledge, and it feels like cheating. It feels impossible to run at a good player under a ledge with that gun because it's
No, that's the
insane.
thing. It's like you cannot close a gap against a good
It's
Swiffer without like
insane.
displacement.
Yeah.
Like not even a bomb would stop it. It's
I
ridiculous.
think high B would be fair. Like maybe below leader, but above not. I'm thinking.
I honestly think it's better than I would probably put it above leader
All right,
still.
we could do
I
that.
really just hate leader.
I can tell.
That's just me.
All right. New weapons. You want to start? Why don't we start with the dualies? Because I think the Brella is one people believe in a bit more. I assume you've taken a
Really,
look at the
I think the
dualies in game
opposite.
more, right?
I'm down for dualies though. I'm down
Have
for
you
dualies.
have you like actually seen like outside of the demo videos data on this one? Because I know you've
As
seen
in
the
like
map. Have you seen
like
like people
as
using
in
it in
like
training room and stuff, like data mine clips of it?
yeah, I got like a magical view of it from
Okay.
Beyond the Beyond. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's start with dually.
Now with dually, I don't remember the exact damage value. Is it
24,
25.5?
25.5.
25.5. Okay, okay. So it is. And that's like regardless if it's rolled or not.
Yeah, it's the same damage.
Yeah.
But it's like any amount of fall off in your 5 shot, which
Yeah,
isn't a
you're
big
fucked,
deal
yeah.
for the rolled mode, I think, because it still just shoots so fast. But I
Mhm.
think it's a big deal for the standard fire. It's a
Yeah.
big deal for standard fire, in my opinion.
Especially because of its not its fire rate, but its accuracy when
Yeah,
fired.
its standard
It's
fire is
bad.
like paint and light pepper spray, but it feels like Nova to me, where it doesn't actually do enough damage to matter. It's not as bad, because you can threaten to actually go in and shoot them,
Mhm.
but I think its standard fire is really, really bad. I think it
Yeah.
needs way more range, or it needs to be more accurate.
I
The
think it
rolled mode,
depends
I think, is kind
on
of good, though. I mean, you
yeah,
only
I
get
love
one
the roll
roll,
mode.
but the fire rate in that mode is pretty fucking good.
The one thing though about the unrolled mode or whatever, um, we still have to see like the actual well, I'm sure the information is out there, but the actual like hitbox size of the bullets themselves, right?
Yeah,
Because
that's true as
if
well.
they're like big enough that you can like move around and actually land damage and it's not like a CDS deal,
Mhm.
then I think automatically yeah, it would probably like go like mid to high B tier.
Yeah.
Like I think the main weapon is
The
very
other
good
problem though is like even though
potentially.
with how good the rolled mode is, unless if you cancel it with whale, you have one roll.
Yeah. I don't
The
really
end
mind
lag
that.
isn't that bad, but it's still like with every other duel, you have to play the mind game of like, are they going to stay in this roll or are they going to press it again? Whereas with this one, the
Yeah.
second you see it commit to a roll, you know they are stuck for a
Yeah,
bit.
I think
Like there
remember
is no
in
mind game. You instantly know where your
yeah.
punish window is. That feels
Remember
horrible.
remember in Splat 2 when with like main power up Gluga, how
Mhm.
people were like trying to combo the long range with the short range to like two shot?
Mhm.
I think it'd be like something similar there where you try to just land
Yeah,
early
but the
damage and then
opposite.
you roll yeah, but you like roll forward to just like secure a kill
I don't
kind of
even think
deal.
it's that the standard has more range. I think you like you roll and they run away from you and you just switch to standard fire and then instantly catch up to them. Like you hit them like 3 4 times and then your standard fire mode can maybe like be a tool that finishes them, I guess.
Yeah, no, yeah, yeah, that could be either way.
And then
I think the idea though is like I don't think the single roll is enough to like make it bad or even like
yeah, it's
worse
a
than
bad
it would otherwise
like
be.
I just worry because you know I've had S blast, which like S blast short range mode is too slow and long range is too small, and it's really
Yeah.
hard. And the thing is, I see the same problem. The short range mode is fires really fast and stuff, but it's one roll, and then the long range mode doesn't actually do enough damage. So it's like I see the same problem of like it has 2 rolls that have really cool utility, but the
Mhm.
weaknesses in them could be really big. And unlike S blast, this doesn't have a burst booyah kit. It has Mind
Yeah.
Whale, which
Dude,
like
why did they give it whale?
Whale
Why did
is
they give it
okay
mine
because
whale,
like
bro?
I like Whale for the roll cancel and also the like it could potentially make you 3 shot or even guarantee 4 shot if you're playing at like a slightly more than your range.
Mhm.
But that's it. Like
But still get
it's
a
just an
bomb. Like,
it's whatever. And then mine just does not help at all.
yeah.
You don't have a lot of range on standard fire. I thought that's what it was for. Like, oh, you just set it up with a standard fire because you have a lot of range, so you can
Mhm.
like poke, and then if people run at you, you get your ink bind. But it's not that much range.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah,
don't know why they
I'm
gave
let
it
down
to
by
it, other
that.
than we put it on Gluga, but we wanted to give Gluga something else, so we're gonna give it to this thing. I don't know. The kit just feels. And then the same thing with whales. Like when I thought it was a 5 shot, like 24 damage or something, whales seem really nice because then you get it a 4 shot. But the amount of
Mhm.
whale you need to make it a 3 shot isn't that much. So why do we add an eighth whale weapon to the game?
Yeah, I don't know, I don't know.
Why did we do
Dude, literally,
that?
if you just gave it a bomb and made it so that if you really wanted to combo, you have to invest, like, a chunk of your tank, you
That's our
know?
standard fire is squeezer range. It's not that much. What? I swear it wasn't. Okay, if it's squeezer
Even
range,
if
then
it
never mind. Mine on it is okay. Okay,
even
if
if it
it's
is
squeezer range,
it's
it's low B.
even
But
if it
I
is
swear it
squeezer
had
range,
less.
even if it is squeezer range, I don't think the accuracy unless the hitbox is
Yeah,
really
but at
big.
least then you can paint like really far and like actually probably bait into mines.
Does it even paint well, though? I don't think it does.
It paints okay.
Yeah.
It's like 4 lines of range. No, oh, okay, then yeah, I guess it is. Maybe I was just blind. I don't know. Okay, if it's squeezer range, I think it's low B. I'd put it above 52, but not above not, I guess. Because its kit isn't that bad then, and whale is still a good special, like, or at least an okay one. I think it's
Yeah,
fine.
this is tough.
That's
I'm
not
not
that
sure.
bad. I think I could see it being middle of the road.
Yeah, I guess I could see it just being, like, in the middle. The thing is, like, I think with its kit, like, it's not a horrible kit, but it doesn't do anything that
Hmm.
makes it, like, even worth considering. Like, there's no reason I would run this over, like, V-Dually that has crab, you know?
Okay, but
Or,
here's my
like,
argument. It's more of a reason to be used than 52 is.
I honestly kinda disagree.
Hmm.
Like, if we're talking about, like, raw ease of use, if we're talking about, like, pace, if we're talking about, like, the value of the special that you have, I think 52 just beats it out in every way. And paint, like paint too. Uptime because it has better ink management and whatnot.
Hmm.
Like, I can't really say it because I haven't seen the weapon in practice, you know what I mean? But,
I
like,
still, I don't know. I
I
still
don't
feel
see
safe
it.
predicting it low B though.
Yeah, like, that's fair. I probably wouldn't put it above 52 though.
Okay, we could keep it here.
But yeah.
I think that's fair. Okay.
I should honestly give this one to you because we are about to disagree heavily on Umbrella. I'm not gonna lie.
So here's like, just to, I'm gonna put this here for now. This is not my actual ranking.
Yeah.
My thought on like every other brawl in the game. Like if we look at 10, 10 is like 60% the shield, 40% the gun. This is like 50-50,
Yeah, just about.
50-50, you know? Like they're about middle in terms of importance, you know?
Mhm.
I think this is not like that at all. I think this weapon is like 75-80% the gun and like
Yeah.
20% the shield. Like
Yeah, definitely,
the
a million
gun,
percent.
like forget with no shield for a second, no kid. Just talking about the pure gun is fucking ridiculous. It's barely slower than Brella, and I mean barely. You basically can't tell. The demo
Mhm.
video is slower. I don't know why they shoot so slow in the demo video. I've seen people shoot with it normally. It's basically the same as Brella. It has more range than an RB Direct. It's like the same range as Tent. And it paints better than Tent too. It
Wait,
doesn't it
is that
doesn't
range
spread out.
90?
Huh?
Is that range 90 or is it, like, inaccurate but
Outrange.
hits
No,
like
yeah, it can
20?
do 90, but it's a little inconsistent. It's consistently 60 or more at max range, is what I'll say.
Yeah, okay.
But you can do 90s max range, but I'll get to that. The pellets don't spread out, so it doesn't paint as much as Tent, but like in one shot. But it fires so much faster. And then the shield launch paints basically as much as Tent, and the shield launch is half a second. And you pull up the shield immediately. You pull up shield 2 frames faster than Vibrella. So you can
Mhm.
shoot and like instantly block damage. It's gonna be way more consistent. And then it just launches instantly, which immediately doubles its shield HP, which is good because it only has 100, but we'll get to that. And it
Yeah.
paints like crazy. So you can paint way too well with this weapon. It paints insane. It's 14 shots, by the way, but the shield is not ink hungry like this one. So even though this is 18 shots and this is 14 shots, this is probably about the same ink efficiency because the shield takes like nothing, whereas this is like 15% a second.
Mhm.
Whereas this is actually made to use the damn shield and it doesn't matter. It also moves fast. It still strafes just like Brella. I think it might be a little slower. I'm not entirely sure. So,
They're
yeah.
basically identical. Like, the weapons themselves, like, minus,
It's just
uh,
the
how the
range is
Stella works.
completely
Yeah.
the range on it is insane. You are basically a mid-range kill gun. with a small shield attached, is how I see it. And that shield to me is basically just setup. Like you launch shield and you follow it and you poke, and if you hit someone, you keep going, and if not, you just get another one instantly and can just go
Yeah.
again. And then you just
I
paint in the meantime.
yeah, I think poking is like its big thing.
And like
Like
at most you get 300 HP, which still isn't a lot. Like you have a launch shield, you shoot behind it, then you pull up the second shield because it comes
mhm.
back instantly. So then you can get like another little bit of HP. It's not a lot, but you can fight from mid range, and it's totally fine. In fact, I think you're kind of incentivized to do so because
Definitely.
you
Yeah.
don't have the damage drop off of other umbrellas, so you don't need to get close, and you don't one
Yeah.
shot up close anyway.
I
So
yeah, I just don't think you can really use the weapon outside of like a mid-range
mm,
focus. But the the
yeah,
the
close
the
range you have to
main
fight someone who's weak enough for you to basically one shot
yeah.
them. And the shield also does
Um
20 damage, which is enough to combo, but only if you hit 90,
yeah,
which is
only if you
important.
90
If you
them.
hit 75, it doesn't kill, which
But I
is
think
probably why.
playing around the umbrella itself, like the shield itself, I kind of don't like it. I think it's good if you're like you were saying, like poking, because then it's like, okay, I can launch my shield and maybe throw out like 2 or 3 shots
Yeah, just
to
see
try
what
to
happens.
land
But
a
it's
little
not
bit of
like a
damage.
it's
Yeah,
not like any of the other umbrellas in terms of actually
but
using it.
the problem it comes from when you actually try to like push up to take space or something,
Mhm.
where like again, we're in like a Zuka meta right now.
Yeah.
If you try to push with that Brella at any point or open that shield at any point, like you're just gonna die. Like you're gonna die to chip damage. You're gonna die to like your shield just getting stripped and then like one shot piercing through it. You know what I mean? Like one of the Zuka pellets like piercing through the shield and just like destroying you.
Hmm.
So it's like, is it consistent enough to like really use in like at least current meta? I don't think so. And then that problem is exacerbated by its kits. Like
Oh, I want to get to that, yeah, but I'll hear your
yeah,
thoughts first.
I'll let you touch on it, but, like, I'm very like, at first I was cool with it, but, like, understanding, it's bubble, like, it's not that great,
Hmm.
but I the more I think about it, the worse it, like, looks to me.
I see.
But I'll let you, go for it.
I mean, I'll get the part we probably agree with off the table. I don't like dart on it.
Yeah,
Like it's
it's
okay.
completely useless.
Like it can combo with only 4 out of the 6 pellets since it does 60 damage. But then if someone runs
Uh-huh.
a bomb defense up, it can't, and you need 5, and that's way too specific. So
But then you have to hit it too, like,
yeah, and
that's
you
the
still have to
annoying
hit the
part.
fucking dart, and also
Exactly.
the weapon's not as incongruent as it
Dude.
seems, but it's not cheap either.
Yeah.
So I feel like you
Yeah,
barely
exactly.
ever use dart, unless if you like absolutely have nothing else to do, which
I
is
think
going
if
to
you're
be
like
very
yeah, if
rare
you're
with
like
how far you can
totally
paint.
yeah, if you're like totally locked out and you can't do anything, or if you want to like meme kill an e-leader on brine water, then
Yeah,
like yeah, go for it. But
that's it.
yeah, I don't see it being
I
good.
do think bubble on it I like though. I think it's very easy to set up the bubble because you paint really far as well as you have the shield launch, so you can get bubble, like you can actually move forward and bubble. And
Mhm,
bubble gives it the one thing it doesn't have, which is an actual shield. And bubble's not great, but I see this as like a zones weapon, right? Because it paints pretty
mhm,
well. And if you have a weapon that paints well and can bubble zone, that's a pretty good combo. One we don't have on a weapon that isn't Junior, and Junior can't fight. To me, like,
yeah,
Roller can fight and set up with its bubble, but it can't use it supportively. Junior can use it supportively, but can't be aggressive with it. This weapon can do both. I think it has potential to be a way better bubble weapon because of it. And you're
mhm.
going to get more of them than pretty much anything else. I think you can even get the same amount as Junior, honestly. Because you can still just paint much further away than a Junior. So,
Yeah, no, I could definitely see that, and you paint safer than junior
yeah,
too,
so it's
like
way
much
easier
much
to get
safer.
it and set it up. And like, yeah, your
Yeah,
shield might break early, but then you still get the bubble at least a little bit further. Unless if everyone is looking at your shield launch to shred it immediately, you're gonna get it somewhere. And if
that's
everyone
the
like
thing though.
realistically that shouldn't be happening. Because you should have
I
something else to help you get in.
yeah. Yeah. If you're going like solo or you're like forced to split from your team, I think you just like lose. Like I don't think you can actually like fight in this meta. But if we're talking like, well, even if you use it for like zones, I if it gets to a point where this weapon is like super like meta picked, I think you actually like unironically start running like Ringer or something that could just get into the bubble, one
Hmm.
shot it, and then cap the zone as well. Like you can't fight it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they have like a
Well,
restart or
actually,
something.
you can. I don't. I forget. I think you can actually stop the slider cheese with your shield, though, which is kind of funny to think about. I think you can actually block it.
In what way?
I think you can block the explosion, so it doesn't paint
You would
as much.
exploit you'd like the explosion killing, but not painting, right?
I'm not sure.
I think it's I think it's killing would block
I'm
it.
actually not sure. You can stop Vac Cheese though from killing your bubble with the shield at least. That part will actually be really easy. So you can
Yeah.
shield block a Vac shot. So you can at least prevent one of the
Yeah,
two
yeah.
bubble counter
Yeah,
Savage
but
Cheese.
that one's not like that's because it's, like,
No, it is
directly making
damage only.
contact.
Okay, then yeah, never mind that. It won't.
Yeah.
Then yeah, Dread would be fine at countering. But at least like if you can shield the Dread, you can probably guarantee to kill it after at least, which is not as bad. Though that's not hard
Yeah.
to stop anyway. Um, I mean,
Yeah,
yeah,
like yeah,
I think
current
it's gonna depend on the gun. And like I could even see if it paints well enough, I could even see it being a fucking QR weapon and just going and fighting a lot and just
really?
playing for it. Yeah, I could totally see it. I don't think you need a lot of gear. If I can get like 7, 8 bubbles, I'm just gonna run QR comeback and just fight people. I don't know. I have to test it. I think you're either specking into like mobility and charge up and you're playing for your bubble a lot, or you're playing QR
Mhm.
and you're just fighting. But to me, I think the whole weapon rides or dies based on how insane is the main weapon actually at fighting. I
Yeah.
think if it's insane at
That's
it,
a
then
big
it'll
thing.
be like at its peak, if it's really good at fighting and you can run QR and still spam stuff, then it could be like as good as here.
That's crazy. With
But I think
bubble
it's
too?
more likely going to be here or here. If it's
Yeah.
like mediocre at fighting, like not bad, but it's okay, I think it goes here because it's still like pains and you have shield utility your teammates can play off of, and you can still like bubble, and bubble's fine. But
Mhm.
if you can actually fight, which I think you can, from everything I've seen, I think you'll be able to fight pretty well and possibly do QR stuff. I think it could be an A tier weapon. I
That's
do, like.
interesting.
There's a pipe dream it could be up here, but I
I
don't.
don't think
I
that's
don't
ever gonna
see
happen.
it.
Not with that
I don't.
kit.
I don't think
Definitely
they
not.
made it that good. I feel like there has to
Yeah.
be something. I feel like in a match itself, it's still going to be really hard to two tap people, and I think
Yeah.
you need to be able to two tap people with this gun.
That's the thing. Yeah, like, if we're
That's
talking
what it rides or dies
consistency.
on. Is like how often am I going to two tap people?
Yeah, like, you're fighting a weapon that'll just, like, one-shot you in range. You're fighting consistent 2 shots with Brella and or not Brella, with, Slasher and, like, Machine. You're fighting a ton of shooters. Like and, like, Brella, I guess like, by nature, it's, like, kind of decent against shooters, but, like, when they all have lethals and they have Zukas and they have walls, like, I don't think you're winning a lot of these matchups
I don't
in,
think
like, a
it's as
straight up
extreme in
fight.
matchups as like normal Brella. Like I don't think it's as bad against stuff like
Oh, no, no,
blasters,
it's
but I
definitely
don't think
not
it's as
as
good
bad.
against stuff like shooters either. I think
Yeah,
it's like much more flatter of a matchup chart. I want to say like it's
yeah.
problem the Brella counters aren't as bad because
No,
like
I
I don't know
definitely
against
agree.
RB you can still block a direct, but you also still have like a lot more range to work with. It's very easy to like mess it up, and you can still
Yeah,
kill it if it ever gets close to you. You know, just like Reg Brella, you just shoot, shield, block a direct, and just kill it,
yeah,
and it cannot do anything.
yeah. But I think a lot of it's, um, like, even though those matchups aren't as, like, exaggerated as Brella's, I don't think it wins any of them either.
I
You
don't
know what I
know if
mean?
it wins any of them. That's the part I have to see.
That's
I'm
yeah,
also
like,
curious on its wall damage. I'm curious because it has enough range and it does 90. Old Brella was pretty decent against wall, and this thing has more range.
wall damage? Oh,
I
like
care
splash wall
because
damage.
Squeezer. Squeezer or
Yeah,
Gals. Because Brella, after the nerf, struggled hard against fighting 52. Like, it was a, quote, even matchup. Probably worse for Brella, if we're being realistic. This
mhm,
thing might actually be able to, like, fucking shoot down a wall and fight something, which would be a lot better. Especially against, like, 52, where you can outrange it, too. So, it's like a
yeah,
small thing, but if DPS there matters, and it's also good against other stuff. Like, I can shoot a crab and actually do damage to it. Or a bubble, or what, or
do we
whatever.
know
That
it's
would
object
be
damage?
um someone in my chat can maybe correct me if they have the damage multipliers. But I believe if I remember correctly, and I might be wrong, I'm not certain on this, it's the same as Brella's, which are not bad, but
It's
not
not
great.
horrible. Yeah, I guess this would be technically better than Brella's then because of the higher damage per pellet.
I mean, like, yeah, that's the thing. Like, even compared to old Brella, you have better damage because you have 6 pellets instead of 5.
Yeah,
So you're easier, or I believe it's 6. It might still be 6. I forget exactly how it works. Um, it's just better damage all around. Unless you hit one pellet, but if you hit one pellet with how close they are, that's like really difficult to hit. You have to be like very off on your aim to only hit one. I feel like that's mostly not a weapon thing. I'm trying to look up the exact damage
I don't know if
multipliers,
you muted
and
or not,
my
but oh, sorry.
Google Chrome is not working for some reason. There we go. Let me see if I can pull this up. I will check real quick with Brella. Brella is 1.3 to Crab, 1.3 to Booyah, 2.4 to Wave, 2.4 to Bubble, 2.4 to the other part of the Bubble, 2.4 to Rainmaker, 2.4 to Wall.
This is Brella or new
That's
one?
normal Brella. If it's
Oh,
the
normal
same
Brella.
on the new one, which is what I've heard,
Mhm.
then yeah, these would be good damage multipliers for it. That would mean a lot more if you're doing 90 damage at mid range than 81 at close range. That's a big difference. So yeah, that would probably be pretty good. Yeah, it's a tight spread, which
Yeah.
is what we talked about. So I would probably, like, if I had to be completely honest from everything I've seen and I've looked at it a lot, I would probably put it here. That would be my prediction. Like, right in between. Like, I don't think it has as much potential as Gluga, but I think it has more than something like Squiffer or Flingza.
Yeah.
That's where I'd put
I
it.
I cannot get over that Squiffer placement.
Yeah, I know.
I'll okay, hold up.
Yeah, I'll
I'll
do
give you
this.
Brella if you could drop Squiffer to
I'll
top of B.
low A. Low A, and I'll do this.
Low A? Okay. All right. Put Flings above. All right. I'm
Yeah,
down.
Flingza above.
All right.
Can I get this? I gotta negotiate. I think
I
it's
don't
better
know,
than
man.
Flingza.
I think Brella is like in a weird state where it's just like totally unproven.
Yeah, it's
It was
it's
more
just sort of tough
Screamer.
because no other Brella plays like it at all.
Yeah. Well,
Everything
even
else
like
is so much about the shield. Like the shield is everything for that weapon.
yeah.
But
It was even like it reminds me of like Foil Squeezer last patch where like I put it in like very middle tier because I was like underrating Scream. But this is more like maybe I could just be underrating the entire main weapon kind of deal. You know
I
what I
just
mean? And
think
it
the
is
shots
actually
are
ARS.
insane. Like I think
Yeah.
old Brella damage was so nice, and having a better version of that just already is insane to me. Like that just
Yeah.
wins so many points in my head in a game with how important main weapons are.
I just lose it with the kit. I lose it with the kit
I
and
don't
then
think Bubble's that
it's
bad. I
squishiness.
like Bubble on it. I don't mind
Really?
it. Maybe I'll change my mind when it comes out, but
Yeah.
I mean, there's so
I'm
much
fine with
Zuka and
leaving it
Pencil
like
right now that I feel like Bubble's fine on a weapon that can actually get them forward, and this probably can. But yeah,
maybe.
I guess this will be our
Maybe.
predictions. But I think most notably for this list, nothing's really cracking top tiers.
Dude, not even close.
Not even Buff Gluga. Nothing here really goes into. I think this is going to be it. Like, I would not be surprised if we don't see any of this. You know,
Yeah.
like
Yeah, I would not be surprised if like literally nothing changes.
I
Like
think
I
that's why
could
a lot of comp
see
players were disappointed because like
yeah,
you don't really got a lot here.
I could see people experimenting with like E-liter and Gluga and Flingza, but
Mhm.
the others I don't think you'll even see in tournament like at all.
Yeah.
Unless Brella is like somehow insane main weapon.
I could
I
see
just
it.
don't
The
even think
thing
you'll
is,
see
I
him
think,
tournament.
feel like Brella is very easy to. The Brella might be easy to transfer for Splat Brella or tent players. So mainly Brella's where I could see if it's good, I could see tent players switching. If they get like super bazooka countered, you just pick the other Brella. I could see
But
that.
would they pick it over Sorella Tent
That's the
is
part
the
I don't know
question.
yet.
Yeah, I don't think
But the
so.
thing is, I think if there's anyone who's going to be able to play it, it would probably be the tent players
Oh,
because they're
definitely.
already
Yeah.
used to the range and type of shot. It's just a little
Yeah.
bit faster and a little better damage for worse shield. It's like it probably have a lot of fundamentals transfer. And then
Mhm.
Red Brill, I think, transfers even harder because it's similar firing speed. And it's literally its old damage. Or not literally, it's slightly different, but the max damage is literally just the same thing.
Yeah, I think with tent though, like the reason you see it in comp a lot, outside of like people that just one trick it, it's really good for just kind of like forcing space through chokes
Yeah.
and also like baiting out like Zuka shots because it
And
can
just
tank like two to
resources in
three Zuka
general. You
shots.
can just get them to throw
Yeah,
all their bombs at it early, and then you just don't have that in a team fight.
exactly. Yeah, but
Give Brella
I
back
don't,
90, it's not getting 90 back, dude. It's so over. Like,
dude.
this weapon is become a
Yeah,
permanent reason it will not get 90 back.
when this dropped, like I would be surprised if tent if
They can still
normal
make
Brella
Reg
even
Brella
gets
good
a damage
enough
buff.
in other ways, like especially if they make it 180p. But like it will not be the same as old Brella in S2. Old S2 Brella is like well and truly dead at this
Yeah,
point.
it's never coming back. Maybe you'll get like
They
ink
could still make
efficiency
it
buff.
good because the kit is just so fucking broken that like yeah, you could probably
Oh,
still
the
make it a
inkjet
thing.
one. Yeah,
Yeah, just give it more shit to do with the jetpack and it'll probably be
yeah.
fine.
I think
Like
it's still
it
underrated.
paints alright. It doesn't get jet that slow. I think if you make it like 180, I think it'd be fine. Like 180p, maybe like a little extra buff. I don't know, something like that.
Honestly, I think it's even fine. Like if you
I
give it
don't think
maybe a
it's
little bit better
fine for
paint,
what it
the
is.
the problem is the meta itself just completely
Yeah.
invalidates Brella.
No,
But
that's
if you
true.
like, let's say in a hypothetical world, like Zuka and all Zuka players just evaporate one day, you know what
Yeah,
I
that'll
mean?
happen.
Like, let's just say hypothetically, right? I think Brella goes like way, way, way up. I mean, there's still like Slosher you have to deal
I
with
just think there's
and
a
the
lot of
King, but
weapons that deal with Brella very well, like pencil shreds, it charges shredded blasters, and like you don't have armor against those. It makes it a lot harder.
yeah, that's true. That's
Because
true, I
armor
guess.
made you a fucking mini boss.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
especially if you
definitely.
also had like bomb rush with it. Yeah, yeah, bombs.
Which
You
if
got
you timed
armor.
it
You got
right.
500 HP shields. Like goddamn, bro, I can't even shoot the guy.
Yeah.
It doesn't have that in this game.
Yeah,
Anyway.
but I think by extension that goes kind of like both ways because one big thing with like Brella and Splat 2 was that the fights stalled out so hard either way, right? So if you could just stall harder with your own Brella, it kind of just worked. But this Brella, if you close a gap and you have like decent aim, they don't even get a chance to fight back. Like they're not protected either. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I think like while you lose your survivability, the fact that enemies also lose a lot of their survivability kind of like leans heavily in Brella's favor too. Even
Yeah,
if you can't stall nearly as hard.
that's fair.
And that goes like double with Inkjet too.
Mhm. Oh yeah, I love ink jetting when my shield's gonna break.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I
It's
think in terms of the
nasty.
list as a whole, though, I think this is probably mostly
Yeah.
fine here.
I'm
So
I'm a little upset that there's so many in like the A and B tier.
yeah, and
But
even
like
A is like a lot. I think everything at A is usually like Ren's vouching Flingza harder than I would like, and I'm vouching Brell and Squiffer harder than I would
yeah,
like, which means the
it's
only actual
very
thing here is Gluga, which was not the new one, the old one that got
yeah,
buffed.
literally.
So like
I didn't even realize
so
that.
like
Yeah, no, literally.
if we were being like really pessimistic about this, like in theory this goes here, some of this goes lower, and it's like looks
I
even
yeah,
worse.
I'd
Which, like,
probably put
we
like
don't hold that standard. Like, we have higher opinions of it. But,
you know
there are a good portion of top players who are probably a bit harsher than us, who are like, nah, nothing is even, like, not tier
yeah, they're
level.
like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
No,
So,
if I was being like really pessimistic, I'd probably put like Ringer down and then everything from not onwards down to C, and then like Brella Squiffer down to B. But like Gluga Flings, I'd probably keep A.
I would put Flingza down.
Yeah. No, I can't fault that. I can't fault that.
Yeah. Why are the other weapons in the list? Just as a kind of, like a basic way to tell what each tier represents a bit. Like, the general where each tier is at power-wise. Tried to rank weapons that are, like, very easy to understand the spot they're in, I guess. So, yeah. All right, though.
Yeah.
I think that's it. We're nearing an hour here, so I
Yeah,
think we're
awesome.
good. So thanks for joining me for this, Ren. I really appreciate it. You can
Yeah,
find
thanks for
Ren on
the
Twitter at Ren. What's your at?
dude, I honestly have no idea. I think it's like underscore Ren97 or something. I
That's
don't
what
know.
I
I
thought it was, but you don't know.
I put the underscore anywhere. It's just like what's available at that
Just
moment.
Ren97. You'll probably find it.
Yeah, I'll
It's
show up there.
it's
I
close
shitpost all the
enough.
time
It
on
just
Twitter.
just look for jackpot underscore SPL and look for their coach. You'll find it there. All right, though.
That works.
I think that's everything. Thanks for watching.